The 2024 draft buzz is quieter than a library on a Sunday afternoon. No standout prospects like Victor Wembanyama to get everyone hyped this time around, but wait, lurking in the shadows of the second round, there's a potential game changer, Bronny James.
Get him! Get him, Bronny!
I said game changer because there's some rumors swirling about him and the Golden State Warriors. Could he be the wild card that shakes things up for the Dubs? I mean, think about it. The Warriors don't even have a first-round pick this year, so it's not like they're banking on some top-tier talent, as they are desperately in need of fresh blood to build up a much better team than this season's. It's no news that the Dubs had one of the most disappointing seasons in their history, and this might just be their busiest offseason in recent years. If Bronny declares for the draft after his freshman year at USC, the Warriors might have a shot at snagging him, and they might be getting a 2-for-1 deal as well with the main man himself, LeBron James. It's no longer news that LeBron has been eyeing a chance to play alongside his kid. Imagine the dynamic duo of LeBron and Steph Curry with young Bronny in the mix. It's like a dream team scenario. Okay, let's not get too carried away, but this could be the plot twist the NBA didn't see coming. The Warriors pulling off a draft day move that lands them not just Bronny, but LeBron too? It's a long shot, sure, but hey, stranger things have happened in the world of basketball, and if it means LeBron rocking the blue and gold, Warriors fans just might be daring to dream. It might be more than just a dream, as there have been reports hinting that LeBron might be willing to take a pay cut if it means teaming up with his boy Bronny. And there's chatter that at least two teams are eyeing this father-son duo deal, willing to shell out less than LeBron's usual $51 million price tag. The Warriors could be one of those teams. I mean, they swooped in and snagged a second-round pick by trading Corey Joseph to the Pacers. Suddenly, they've got a shot at drafting Bronny, something that wasn't even on the table before the trade. Now, Bronny's college season is over, and despite some struggles on the court and a scary health scare, teams will show interest. But the main reason has to be the fact that there's a possibility of also getting LeBron. Warriors were eyeing LeBron at the trade deadline, but anything involving LeBron right now is like a package deal with his son Bronny. Now, the big question is, will the Warriors scoop up Bronny in the draft? Well, according to some sources, experts seem to agree that the Dubs won't be making that move. But maybe a return to Cleveland would be the ultimate homecoming for the James duo. I mean, talk about a full circle moment. Time flies, doesn't it? I mean, it feels like just yesterday we were all buzzing about LeBron James hitting the scene as a young prospect. But it's been a whopping 21 years since King James made his NBA draft debut. Back in 2003, the Warriors were just crossing their fingers and hoping for a miracle shot at LeBron. But with little or no chance, they ended up settling for Mickael Pietrus at number 11. Fast forward to today, and the Dubs have got a shot at drafting LeBron 2.0, except this time there's a junior tagged on the end. Bronny James, son of the GOAT himself, is throwing his hat in the NBA draft ring after a year at USC. And let's take a moment to appreciate the journey this kid's been on. I mean, just 9 months ago, he was battling back from a scary cardiac arrest during practice. Now, don't get me wrong, Bronny's definitely grabbing headlines, but he's not exactly the top dog in the prospect pool. See, before his health scare and freshman season, he was on track to be a lottery pick with impressive numbers at high school. But things took a turn, and his season at USC didn't exactly scream future superstar. We're talking about just under 5 points, 3 rebounds, and 2 assists per game. Plus, his field goal and three-point shooting, less than stellar 36.6% and 26.7% respectively. Now, if Bronny didn't have that famous last name, he'd probably be thinking about hitting the books for another year at USC. But sometimes pedigree goes a long way in the NBA draft game. But there's a limit to what a name can really do. See, the kid's not exactly lighting up the mock drafts. ESPN, The Ringer, they're not really projecting him anywhere. Some even left him off the top 100 prospects list. But hold up, don't count him out just yet. There's more to this story than meets the eye. Teams still might take a chance on him for reasons beyond his college stats. I'm talking potential, folks. Remember Brandon Podziemski? Dude wasn't on anyone's radar until he showed up and showed out. And guess which team was that? The Golden State Warriors. So, while Bronny might not be a shoo-in for a draft pick right now, things could change really quick. LeBron himself skipped college altogether and got scooped up first overall by Cleveland back in 2003. The hype mainly revolves around this idea that LeBron wants to play on the same NBA team as his son, Bronny, before he calls it quits. But hold up, that doesn't necessarily mean Bronny gets drafted and LeBron signs up too. The Lakers are in the mix, of course. They seem keen on drafting Bronny to keep LeBron happy in LA. But what about the Warriors? There's been some chatter, especially with LeBron's connections there, like his bromance with Draymond Green, his love for Steph's game, and his respect for Coach Steve Kerr. But the Warriors don't have the cash to just throw at LeBron, even if he's suddenly itching to leave Hollywood. LeBron's got options though, with a player option this summer, meaning he can dip into free agency if he feels like it. But realistically, a move to the Warriors seems like a stretch. They'd need some serious cap gymnastics for LeBron agreeing to a major salary slash, which, let's face it, is about as likely as winning the lottery. Sure, it's fun to imagine LeBron and Bronny rocking matching James jerseys for the Warriors, but let's keep it real. It's more of a fantasy than a future plan. You know, what often gets overlooked in LeBron's whole thing about teaming up with Bronny is the timeline. He's been pretty clear to play his last season with his son, adding that he's ready to do whatever it takes. Now, LeBron's been dropping hints about retirement, even flirting with the idea last offseason. But despite pushing 40 next year, the guy's still putting up crazy numbers. We're talking 26 points, over 7 rebounds, and 8 assists per game. He's likely making another All-NBA team this year. So yeah, he's got the fuel left in the tank, and until he flat out says, "I'm done," I'm betting he's still got game. But that final year is going to roll around sooner or later, and when it does, it's going to be a big deal. I mean, I said earlier, LeBron's not going to ditch his over $51 million player option just to chase a bargain deal with the Warriors or anyone else this summer. But for that last ride, I could totally see him doing it, especially if it means playing with Bronny. So what could the Warriors do if they want to make that a reality? Well, for starters, they're gearing up to shell out some serious cash in salaries and probably in tax payments too. They will also be looking to cut back on those hefty payments they've been throwing around for the past decade. Now they've got some serious big-ticket items they could ditch, like waving goodbye to Klay Thompson or passing on Chris Paul's $30 million deal. And let's not forget about exploring options like trading Andrew Wiggins. But they're also eyeing up smaller tweaks, like stacking the roster with rookies on cheaper contracts. Sure, these savings might seem small potatoes at first glance, but for a squad like the Warriors, it could mean the difference between a massive tax bill or sliding just under the line. That's why they made moves like snagging Trayce Jackson-Davis in the second round last year and tossing guaranteed deals to young guns like Ryan Rollins. Now, if the Warriors scoop up Bronny in the second round or nab him as an undrafted free agent, it's going to cost them way less than if they bring in a seasoned vet. And hey, every dollar counts when you're trying to balance the books. Adding Bronny this year is like a draft and stash situation. But considering the short-term financial perks and the potential long-term LeBron effect, it might just be the perfect move for that roster spot. Now, while Miami and Cleveland might be itching to bring the James legacy back home, it seems like Bronny to the Lakers is the hot ticket. I mean, LeBron's already planted his family flag in LA, so it's not too far-fetched. It's a tough one for the Warriors. The Dubs and Lakers have something in common aside from the news of LeBron. They were both booted out of championship contention this season. The Warriors lost the play-in, and the Lakers weren't a match for the Nuggets in the playoff first round. So you bet it's going to be a big offseason for both franchises. The Lakers are on a mission to keep LeBron James in the City of Angels, but the Warriors might just throw a wrench in their plans. But here's where it gets interesting. The Lakers and the Warriors have one more thing in common. They are in the same boat when it comes to draft picks. They don't have their own first rounders. Now, both teams do have second round picks in their hands, so as we gear up for June's draft, expect tensions to rise as teams like the Lakers and the Warriors jockey for position in the Bronny sweepstakes. Now, any rival team with an earlier pick could try to throw a wrench in the Lakers' plans, but if there's one squad that might just pull it off, it's the Warriors. They already made a sneaky play for LeBron back in February, testing the waters with some behind-the-scenes talks and trade ideas. Didn't quite work out, but at least they tried. LeBron's got a player option after the season, meaning he could hit free agency in 2024. Now, getting LeBron as a free agent would be a whole lot easier and cheaper than pulling off some blockbuster trade. I mean, let's be real. The chances of a 39-year-old LeBron James taking a minimum deal with the Warriors seems pretty slim. But if they draft Bronny, well, that might just change the game. But here's where it gets tricky for the Warriors. Even if they manage to snag Bronny in the draft, they'd need LeBron to take a massive pay cut to make it work. And let's face it, with their current payroll situation, offering LeBron anything close to his $51 million Lakers option is a long shot. So the big question is, would LeBron be willing to take a minimum deal with the Dubs or any other squad just to ball with his son? It's a head scratcher for sure, and who knows how far he's willing to go or how much cash he's willing to sacrifice to make it happen. But there are hints that LeBron might be willing to take a pay cut if it means teaming up with Bronny. Now, taking a mammoth pay cut and hitting free agency is a bit tricky, especially since the Warriors don't have cap space to throw around. They'd be limited to offering LeBron a minimum salary, not exactly chump change, but a far cry from his Lakers payday. Now, going back to Bronny, drafting him would definitely be a bold move, especially considering his performance this year at USC. He had a scary cardiac episode during a scrimmage, which set him back and delayed his college debut. But before we write him off, let's remember, I've dug into the tape on Bronny before, and I still think he's got first-round talent despite his college stats. Plus, let's be real, USC had a rough season. They finished with a 15-18 overall record and 8-12 in conference play. So there's plenty of blame to go around before we point fingers at Bronny. So what's next for Bronny? Well, he's still mulling over his options, including the possibility of heading back to college. But will the Warriors consider taking him? And will we get to witness the possibility of a LeBron-Steph combo? Only time will tell.